Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Age isn't an excuse to act like a butt. Elders don't just magically deserve respect, mutual respect, or none at all. So let's start our video with a story about a family squabble. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. My dad wrecks 2 of my cars at once and wants the money I got to fix them because he's the one that caused the accident. I'd purchased 2 cars, a Plymouth Roadrunner and a Valiant. I'm a Mopar gal. I just finished fixing both of them and had started driving the Valiant as a daily driver. The Roadrunner was a weekend car since it's a 440 and gas is not cheap. Well, one day my dad gets home from the flea market and when he pulls into the driveway, accidentally hits the gas instead of the brake and plows right into the Valiant, causing it to go into the Roadrunner, which goes through the garage door. He doesn't apologize, just says, "I hit your cars, I ruined my truck." He tries to tell me he'll fix them, but I've seen him fix cars and he once put on a side mirror with wood screws. So no. He said that if I go through the insurance that their bill will go up and that it would be mean of me to make him pay for the damage. I tell him, if I think I can fix the damage with little cost, I'll do it myself. But if not, I'll have to go through the insurance. I take a look at the Roadrunner first and start it. Fires right up. When I try to go in reverse, the car won't budge. I jack it up to see if the wheels move, to see if the brakes are locked up. They were not. I tell him the transmission's done. When a car's in park and it's moved, the rear wheels will move, turning the drive shaft and the transmission. Since the engine's not running, something has to give, and it's usually transmission parts. And I'll have to go through the insurance. He argues for a while, but my mom tells him it's the right thing to do and calls the insurance company herself. They total my Valiant and I get nearly $20,000 for it, and the damage to the Roadrunner. I have good classic car insurance on the Runner, which will never total it. I go to a shop to fix the Roadrunner and I figure I can do all the work on the Valiant myself. It was mostly body work, which I'm proficient at. As I'm putting in a new garage door, my dad tells me, if I'd not hit your car, you would not have money you got for them. You have to give me the money to fix my truck. I tell him, you nearly destroy my cars and then want the money I got to fix them because you crashed into them? No. He starts with the whole, I raised you and spent a bunch of money on you and you can't even fix my truck? He's my stepdad, so I can't use the whole it was your choice thing. It's not like my mom hid my siblings and I from him, though. He continues to rant about me being an awful child when my mom steps in and says, if he was such an awful child, then why is he putting up a new door for you when you're the one that broke it in the first place? He walked back in the house, mumbling something. His truck's now held together with cable ties and screws. I did get him a new radiator and fix his air conditioning because it was summer and he's 71. I love him, but when it comes to money, he can be a handful. You're an extremely good person for even getting him the new radiator and fixing his AC system along with it, regardless of his actions and behavior. And our second story. My high school dropout daughter needs a job now. So I remembered a good story about an entitled mother, EM, and her high school dropout daughter, who was just as entitled as her mother. A little info. I live in Belgium and have an internship at an interim office. If you don't know what that is, it's basically an office that specializes in finding jobs for other people. It's really fun and a rewarding job, but has its downsides. If you drop out of high school in Belgium, it's really hard to find a job since almost no company wants to hire you, only fast food places, retail stores, and production companies. Now let's get to the story. This all happened in the month January, which is a very busy month for us, and we had a lot of people and companies to call. I was working on a list of people who were quitting/fired, meaning I had to call them and ask the reason for them leaving the company when this lady and her daughter walked in. I greeted them with a smile and asked what I can do for them. EM. My daughter's looking for a job. Me. Okay, ma'am, do you have an appointment? EM. No. Me. Sorry, but you'll have to wait a little bit. None of my colleagues are available at the moment. I'm almost done with my task, and then I'll help you right away. EM. Can't you help us now? I'm sure your task can wait a bit longer. Me. Sorry, ma'am. You don't have an appointment with us, and that means you don't have priority, and my task is very important and needs to be completed ASAP. EM. Fine. She was obviously not happy with my response, but she sat down and gave me a glare. I just sat down and continued my work. After maybe 10 to 15 minutes, I was done with my task and invited her to sit at my desk. She quickly came over and sat down, and I could see by the way she walked, she was very pissed. Her daughter took a seat next to her, and I started with filling in the standard information: name, age, address, etc. After that, I started with more specific questions. Me. What kind of job are you looking for? Daughter. I want to work as a kindergarten teacher. Me. That's a bit difficult to find. I don't think we have any at the moment, but we do have some applications for a daycare. Would you be interested in that? Daughter. Sure. Me. Great. Before you can apply for that, I need a copy of your high school diploma so I can add it to your profile. Otherwise, you won't be able to apply for this job. Daughter. Oh, I don't have a high school diploma. Me. I'm sorry, you can't apply for this job then. May I suggest you apply for a job in retail or fast food? We have a lot of those at the moment. At this point, EM is at her boiling point. She puffs up and starts to go on a rant. EM. My daughter's not going to work at a dirty fast food joint. She's way too smart and pretty for that. She wants to work at a daycare. Me. I'm sorry, ma'am, but your daughter needs a secondary diploma for that. If she doesn't have one, I'm not allowed to give her that job. EM. She's smart enough for that job, so she doesn't need a diploma. Just give it to her. Me. I can't give the job to her, ma'am. She needs a secondary diploma by law. If I give her that job, it can cost me my internship and can give the company legal trouble, and I can't afford to do that. She pulls up her nose and gives me a glare of pure disgust. EM. Of course it had to be an intern helping us. You don't know anything. Can we see someone who actually works here? Me. All my colleagues are currently busy, so I can't disturb them. EM. No, you're lying. They're probably in the break room. Go get them. At this point, I'm getting sick and tired of this lady being an all-around idiot. I calmly get out of my seat and point to the door. Me. Ma'am, could you please leave? You're being very hostile towards me. EM. No. How dare you even speak to me like that? I'm not leaving until you get someone who knows what they're doing, or my daughter gets a job in a daycare. Me. For the last time, ma'am, I'm not giving her a job in a daycare. She doesn't have a diploma. If I knew one of the employees in a daycare doesn't have a diploma, I wouldn't send my kid there. Now I'm asking you one more time to leave or I'll call security. Me mentioning security scared her, so she gathered her things and started walking for the door, but not before giving me a death glare. EM. I'm going to make sure you lose this internship, mark my words. I later heard they went to a different office where the girl applied for a job in a fast food joint. My daughter's smart. That's why she quit high school. Logic. And our last story. Landlord tries to defraud us and ends up losing his visa instead. This happened a long time ago, but I recently found out about the end result. If you've never heard of the US EB-5 visa program, then don't worry. I had neither. From what little research I've gathered, this is essentially a program where foreign nationals can fast-track US residency visa status by contributing financially to approved community investment projects. I don't think that these specifics are that relevant, but feel free to add if I've missed anything important. So when my husband and I were still dating and first looked for a place to live together, we settled on a small townhouse. It was old and needed work, but the rent was reasonable and it was in a neighborhood we liked. The landlord had recently purchased the property, but didn't live there, and wanted renters to help pay for the mortgage, I assume. We found the house on a realty website. It had been sold less than a month before we moved in and still had photographs posted by the seller. This will be important later. We liked the place, applied, and got accepted. We moved in and lived happily ever after. The end. No, but seriously, landlord left us alone. We lived there for a few years, paid rent on time, never had issues, until we moved out. We had to pay nearly $5,000 in refundable security deposits, and when we moved out, our landlord repaid half. We were confused as the lease laid out the steps the landlord had to take in order for them to keep the deposit. Central to that requirement, landlord had 45 days to provide us with an itemized list of damages we caused, as well as the cost to fix each thing. 45 days came and went, and no itemized list. So we contacted them and asked for the list. We received a mostly blank one-page invoice for $2,500 to repaint, remove TV mounts, patch holes, etc. It wasn't itemized and there were no individual charges, so we asked for pictures of the alleged damages. Landlord immediately got hostile and refused. So we filed suit. Landlord hired an attorney to represent him, and the attorney submitted an itemized list as well as pictures. We printed date-stamped copies of the photos posted by the previous realtor, the same photos submitted by landlord's clueless lawyer. The clerk overseeing the matter found in our favor immediately because landlord had lied about the photographic evidence. Landlord was also found to be in breach of contract and was assessed treble damages plus interest, penalties, and court costs. Yay for us. But he didn't pay, so we submitted to a collection agency. I don't really understand the particulars. We eventually recovered most of the final judgment, so we were happy and left it at that. Until, unbeknownst to us, landlord was an EB-5 applicant. Apparently, the breach of contract, collection, and shenanigans surrounding the dishonesty regarding the lawsuit made it back to whomever was reviewing their visa application. There were other issues too, I'm sure. Landlord's visa application was denied. He ended up having to cash out his U.S. investments and won't be eligible for this visa again. The final outcome was an unintended consequence, but I kind of feel like he got what he deserved. Great job on getting your money back and keeping a scummy person out of the country. Exceeded all expectations of simply trying to get your $2,500 back. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.